Hello everyone, Teacher Amanda here with you for another exciting episode of No Show Theater. I am excited to show you today the program that I use in the classroom and pretty much everywhere else to create my videos, to do props in my classroom, to chat on FaceTime. I use a program called Manycam. And many of you have probably heard of it, but if you haven't, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to the program. Basically, it is an app that runs your camera. And when you go into the classroom to settings, you can select Manycam from a list. So you'll be able to see like your internal webcam, your external webcam if you have one, and then Manycam will also appear there. You would select Manycam and then you can operate all the cool features of Manycam and it will appear in your classroom. Now the thing about Manycam is that it is a program. It can fail. It's not perfect. There can be lag at times. There are glitches at times. So it's not perfect, and you kind of have to be prepared to jump right in and fix it if something were to fail. So if you're in the classroom and for whatever reason Manycam isn't working, you need to have a backup prop, you need to have your backup reward system, and you need to instantly be able to switch cameras and go right back along with what you were doing. That's kind of why I don't suggest necessarily that a brand new teacher uses Manycam, because it is so complicated. I'm going to show you the insides of Manycam, and I'll tell you there are different levels. So when you go to www.manycam.com, I'll put that here, and a link down below. When you go there, you'll be given an option. You can use a free version, which is perfect if you're just getting to know it. If you're not quite sure if you want to use it, whatever, the free version is great. But there is a paid version. It's like $20 a year, and it gives you multiple video screens. I'm going to show you why that's useful. You can also up your resolution and your frames per second, so that just makes the program a little bit more usable and a little bit better. I'm going to show you some of the cool features of Manycam. First, let's see. Let's go inside the program, and then I'll show you kind of on my screen what I can do with Manycam. So one of the cool things of Manycam is actually that you can show your screen on your screen. It's infinity. Okay, so what I need you to do is ignore this part and let's focus on the outside here. When you're in the program, you can select your resolution, you can select your frames per second, you can zoom your camera in and out, which really helps you frame your classroom appropriately. I really like this feature. As you can see, like I'm a little bit zoomed right now. You can flip and rotate. You can change your picture mode, and I'll show you more of that here in a bit. And you can adjust your color. So this is really good. Like sometimes I up my saturation or different things like that when my image looks a little bit washed out. Down here, these are the multiple video streams that I kind of wanted to explain to you. This is the main one. This one is a reward system. This one is another reward system, and this one is another reward system. So I have this one for little boys, this one for older children, and this one for girls. And I'll show you, I'll just give you an example now. So our screen view will change. Okay, so now you're inside my reward system. And as you can see, I show my student these things as their reward. So I will say, when you do a good job, you get a princess pony. And I can go in and add these one at a time, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, so that's what the general program looks like, and that's what I use it for. To be able to use multiple reward systems and have them uploaded and ready to go. And also really to be able to edit what part of my classroom is showing and how much of it my student sees. That way I don't have to have like the ideal perfect background, because I also use this room as a classroom. It's in my like basement-y type second level. So like I need to be able for it not to be completely perfect all the time. But the part that you do see, which is this, you know, is easy to kind of make it look nice. And as long as you have from about your bicep to about 2 inches above your head, you're doing pretty good on your ratio to be able to interact with the classroom. Any less kind of limits what you can do, and any more isn't necessary. Now that we're in this view, which is the app view, it's showing you kind of here on the side, it's repeating and repeating the screen. But what I want you to focus on is the outside area here. So earlier I showed you that you can transition screens here. And now I'm going to show you these little features on the side. So the first thing is your video. This is what allows you to change your frame rate, to zoom in and out, to change the color, anything like that. This allows you to mess with the audio, but I will tell you in the classroom, just tune your audio as you normally would and don't worry about this. This one allows you to draw on the screen. I find this really useful. You can also put up words, and you'll have to make it a little bigger. You have an on-off switch, but as you can see, we have one of our sight words, away. Of course, it's not necessarily really clear. There we go. You can sort of see it makes your sight word come up on the screen. You can point it out. You can add that little detail. It really does kind of enhance the classroom experience. The other thing is that you can draw on the screen. And I'm going to show you where this is most useful. Is if you use a solid image like this, you can say, the squirrel loves to eat. Things like this allow you to interact with the images on your screen. Not that I can't just move them around physically, but also you can kind of point things out and circle and easily delete them. Let's go back to the classroom view. So you can change the color, you can change your pen, you can change the thickness of the pen. All of that can be done here. I often use these timers. As you know, there are many activities within the classroom that allow you to time things. Well, this timer shows up, and of course it repeats on the screen. But this timer shows up on your camera in the classroom and allows the student to kind of time themselves through these activities. And it's really good that they can kind of watch their time tick, and it encourages them to speed up or whatever. So the stopwatch is actually really useful. I will explain the Chromakey feature, but I will tell you that I don't use Chromakey. I'm sure that you've seen people who use somewhat of like a green screen image as their background. That is what you can do with Chromakey. Basically, you need a solid color behind you. Most people use green. And then you can select your background image. There are multiple choices. You can find all kinds of things online, things like that. And then you will turn it on and use this little dropper to kind of delete all of your background color. So your background color is going to be green, and you're going to delete go around, and all the hues of that green that are showing up, you're going to erase with that little dropper. And then you can use the blur and contour to make it look even better. It can be really nice in the classroom, and especially if you don't have the option to kind of keep your classroom up at all the time, or you just want to keep it interesting. There are lots of reasons to use Chromakey, and a lot of people use it really successfully. It's just not something that I do. Okay. This is the fun part of Manycam. Here are the effects. You can add face effects, you can add objects, and you can add borders, all kinds of things to your screen. I use most the objects, and I'll just pop up a little flag here. You can download the objects to use as reward systems, and you'll see I have bananas here, I have some princesses, I have some mermaids, some ice creams. So all of this I use as reward systems within the classroom, and I can kind of explain that later. But just to give you a quick preview, these are the things that I have as object rewards in the classroom. You can also use face masks and face accessories. The kids love these. These are really effective, and I'm going to show you those. You can use a picture-in-picture mode. That was on the video screen in the beginning. Okay, what we want is this one to show. Ha. Okay, so down here you're going to see sort of as I select through and find what I'm looking for as far as face accessories. So I will go over here and select this little magic wand and choose a face accessory, and there you go. Right here and right here, you will see the magic panda bear appear on my face. You can use this as a reward system. I will sometimes like cover my face and click it and go, ah, and the dog will appear. So it's not always exactly perfect, but kids love it, so it doesn't really matter. They love this pig. It's a little freaky. But any of these little face effects that I have here on the side, and many of them can be doubled. So the pig can have glasses, the pig can wear a hat, which I like because this pig doesn't exactly cover my giant head. But I like to be in disguise. You can also use all of these in conjunction with each other. So, for example, I showed you the objects earlier, and I already have some of those objects selected up here. Anything that's highlighted will initially show up on your face, but there's going to be a little eye here, and that means seen or unseen. And if you click the little eye, it will cause it to be unseen or seen, whichever it's not doing at that time. So I'm going to add like a banana to my screen, and I use this one quite a bit in the classroom. If you get 5 bananas, you can feed the very hungry monkey. And so, like I was saying earlier, you can use objects and face effects at the same time. So I have my object up, and then I will pull my monkey up, and my monkey will eat. So notice I'm going here to the eye, and I'm going to select the unseen. Watch. Ow! And the banana is gone. The monkey ate the banana. So that's kind of how you can use face effects and objects. You can also just leave the objects up. So, for example, if the student is getting the object as the reward, you can just leave that in the classroom. So I have many of these cars. You get a new car. And you can just leave these kind of as border image as you go through the classroom. And at the end, you can say, wow, you got 5 cars. And you can actually select any of these objects and move it around the screen as you wish. Vroom, vroom, vroom. All of that shows up in the classroom instantly. And the student is so engaged because they love to see images moving and things happening on the screen, especially with young students. And if you will look down below, I have linked a Post-it note reward system that works really, really well with older kids. So as you learn to use Manycam, you're going to get better at selecting different screens, at adding objects. What I would suggest, and what I did when I started out, was I actually practiced in the classroom adding objects and taking them away, and I practiced making it look really natural. So it doesn't look like I'm altering the state of the classroom at all. It just kind of happens. Now, in my next video, I'm going to show you how to create and download objects for your classroom. So all of this isn't included in the Manycam classroom or in the Manycam program when you download it. There are things that are very usable. You'll have some objects, you'll have some face accessories. You'll be able to use the multiple screens. But in my next Manycam lesson, I'm going to show you how to create an object from scratch and how to add that to your classroom. So stay tuned for the next episode of No Show Theater. Good luck, happy teaching. We'll see you then.